When adding decorative stitching to my leather pieces, I like to either use wax thread, which comes in things like this. It comes in different colors as well as different thicknesses, and depending on what look I'm going for on my piece, determines what color and what thickness I use of the thread itself. Or the other thing I like to use is leather lacing. And leather lacing, again, comes in all different colors. I like using the 1/8 inch leather lacing for my hand stitching. It comes in different colors as well as it comes in different hides that will give you, each will give you a different look. You can get it in suede, you can get it in kangaroo, you can get it in deerskin. So the 1/8 inch leather lacing is what I like to use for hand stitching as well. Now, depending on which one of these two I'm actually going to stitch, determines on what kind of hole we're going to punch. You can get these little tongs like this, little chisels like this, to actually punch holes for your hand stitching. You have to actually you have to punch your holes first before you hand stitch through. And so if I'm going to be doing with leather lacing, I'll use like the dark one on the dark chisel, which gives me a long skinny hole, like a rectangle shape. And it gives me more room. It's more like the shape of the leather lacing itself, which makes it easier to sew through. Or if I'm going to be using wax thread, I use what's called a diamond point chisel, which actually is a diamond shape. It just punches a diamond shape into the leather so that it's easier for the thread to go through. So let me show you what those holes look like. This is what the holes actually look like. On the top here, I've used blue wax thread, and you see you've got the diamond shaped holes, and those holes are large enough for you to be able to make 2 passes through the holes with your wax thread if that's what you want to do, depending on which look you're going for. And then the other one gives you a long skinny hole for the leather lacing to go through. So that's the reason it's beneficial to have both of those on hand, depending on what kind of hand stitching you're going to do. Also, what's interesting is that most of these will come in sets. It'll come in sets of either 2, 1, or 4 prongs, so that you can this allows you to be able to either punch straight lines or to go around curves. So you got 2, 4, or single prong pieces to build, and both sets come with those. Sometimes you can even get like 6 or 8. Okay. Now, and let's talk about needles for a second. With needles, for using the wax thread, the needle actually looks like, let me put it up against this so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. It's actually it looks more like a regular sewing needle, but it's an extra large sewing needle, where the eye is extra large for you to be able to thread it more easily through, and that the point itself is not quite as sharp as going through, as you would need to actually push it through. It's more of a blunt point, but allows you to be able to stitch through these diamond shaped holes real easily. Now, the other one that I like to use for the leather lacing looks like this. Looks like this from one side, and this is on the profile. And you see there's actually like a little spike in there, and what it looks like, this is what it looks like. When you take there's 2 pieces at the top, and you separate them, you just bend it open. You just bend it open just like this. Just take it and bend it open like that. And then you take your thread, take your leather lace, and you'll stick it down in between those two pieces, and you press it together. And actually, it helps a lot of times what your whole point is, that little spike that's in there, you want that to stick through your lacing. And so a lot of times it's easier just to stick it in there and then hit it one good time with your mallet, and it'll cause that spike to go through there, and you wind up with it pretty good. It's pretty good stuck into there, and allows you to be able to actually hand stitch with this needle. And what's cool about this needle is not only does that spike hold the leather lacing in place, but it's also flat and skinny to make it a lot easier to go through those chiseled holes that we punched for the leather lacing itself. So those are the 2 methods that I use for adding decorative stitches to my leather pieces.